I think the table on the, or the mic on the table needs to be unmuted.
Martin, can you hear us?
Thank you. I can now.
Morning, everybody. We'll call this meeting to order. Jen, would you please do roll call?
Tom McDonald,
Here.
Anita Matt, Jennifer Finley. Here. Jim Molitor,
Here.
Carol Langford, Len Tootieth, Bing Matt, Ellie Bundy,
Present.
Martin Charlo,
Present.
Mike Dolson,
I'm here.
James Steele Senior.
Thank you, Jen. We'll start out this morning with a prayer. Can I ask Carol, would you lead us in a prayer today?
Creator, today we just give thanks for this sunshine and this beautiful day, and thank you for allowing us to come here and gather and make decisions on behalf of our membership. We also ask for prayers for our elders and our children, and we just give thanks for the beautiful celebration we had last weekend, and thanks for the people that traveled here, and glad they made it home safely. We also ask for a prayer for our elders and our children and keep them safe and strong. And we also ask for a prayer for people who are suffering from illness and addiction. And we just ask you to watch over them and help them to have a better path. Comiate.
Thank you, Carol. Beautiful prayer to start us out today, this beautiful day. Okay, we have our minutes from May 17th for council's consideration.
Or motion to approve. Motion to approve with corrections.
Only
Mr. Chairman? You know, we have a couple of people, candidates that are running for office. I wonder if we take them first before the walk-ins, because I don't know how long. Oh, okay. I see that, but I was just wondering if we move them up.
Are the candidates here? Oh, okay. We could do that, Carol. That's a good idea. There will be one agenda change to bump up the candidates quickly. Any other changes to the agenda? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve today's agenda with corrections. Motion by Bing to approve today's agenda with corrections. Second by Ellie. All those in favor, show of hands. Quickly, let me do the quick updates. I just want to remind everybody, Monday's a holiday. June 6th and 7th is the field trip to Bonner's Ferry. If you have an RSVP, please do with Stu. That means there wouldn't be a chairs meeting that Monday. The following Monday on the 13th, there wouldn't be a chairs meeting either because of the Mission Valley Trail Crew orientation and the training I have to do in Missoula Forest Service. And then the week of the 20th, I'll be in Boise. So that Monday, I guess we wouldn't have a chairs meeting either. So a little vacation from chairs meetings.
Let's scratch June out.
Well, the 27th, there's going to be something there. Yeah, make up for one day. Then, of course, the holiday, July 4th, is on a Monday. So just one, that week of July, I was invited to participate in a strategic climate change for Montana planning session with the Author Blank Foundation. So I was kind of hoping to go to that, might be able to rustle some money from the tree there, maybe for our new visitor center. So thinking about doing that one. So that would mean that I'd be absent for that Thursday's council meeting. So with that, we'll jump right into it. Maybe let's have Mitch come on up. Welcome, sir. Thank you for coming. You could just sit there and push a button there on that speaker so we can hear you well. The red light will come on the mic when you push the button on the mic stand. Yes. Well, there's just push that where it says talk.
There
you
okay. Go. Well, thank you. I wanted to thank you for letting me stop in and visit with you. I'm running for Congress for the federal position for the new district with the census. And the reason I jumped in the race is because I have 40 years experience fixing things. I'm an innovator. I have a patent. I run small businesses for these 40 years. And so I see the difficulty that's out there with a lot of different elements. And I just think that I got a skill set that we could use in Congress. I see that Congress is desperately broken. It's been broken for a long time. And I have some innovative ideas. So I think outside the box. I have a little engineering company. I'm not an engineer, but I'm used to working with engineers. I'm used to taking things apart, seeing what it takes to fix it to a desired result. And it keeps coming back over and over and over again on this campaign trail that I'm on, is that we really need to do something to clean house in Congress. And so I'm advocating for term limits, and the Congress, our Constitution allows for that. And so regardless of the outcome, I'm going to keep pursuing, excuse me, term limits. I just think that it should be a service and not a career. So that's a big takeaway that I have, and I have a little piece of paper I could share with you about that I've drafted what I call the 28th Amendment that is a start for that. Then also in my engineering company, I work on large solutions to difficult problems. And one of the things we're tackling is the housing crisis. And so I have 3 really good solutions for housing that we're working on, and a couple of them are close to being able to turn loose in the market. One of them is a big, huge machine that 3D prints houses, but they're insulated. So it's different than what the other 3D printer guys are doing. So it's a big, massive machine for a lot of houses. So it's something, the housing solutions may be of real interest to the tribes. And another one I have is an ADU, so an accessory dwelling unit program, to where first-time home buyers can start small with a little tiny house, if you will, but it's built better than the tiny house standards that we've seen. These homes that I've designed and that I have in mind to build are built to the same standards as homes out in the site-built homes, so the International Residential Code. And there's too many things going on with it for me to get into the details of it, but it's a really cool program. It's people can get in for a reasonable amount of money. They can expand into these homes, and it could be their first home and their last home, and they're movable, but yet they're on permanent foundation. So a lot of perks about that. And the other one I have is a do-it-yourself kind of program that could be used for disaster relief, or could be used for just a setup on a tribe would be great. It's a micro manufacturing plant that makes ICF blocks. And we make these blocks out of recycled white styrofoam. So waste styrofoam is 97% of the block. There's labor that needs to go into it, but there's programs I have in mind on how that could work with do-it-yourselfers. They could put in some volunteer time and make the blocks, and then earn a few blocks for themselves, enough blocks to where they could build a home. And the homes are really phenomenal houses. If you ever look at how ICFs, do you understand ICFs? Insulated concrete form. It's a great way to build, and you can go buy them, but they're expensive. And so I've developed a method with the equipment to make them from waste styrofoam. So, and it would be great for teaching people how to build a home, how to run a small business, how to do small businesses on different aspects of home building. Anyway, so that's a brief thing on my housing. I could leave my email information with you, and we could talk more about the nuts and bolts of any of those if you wanted to there. Also, I have a patent on a defensive tool that will be instrumental, I believe, in helping with stopping mass shootings in large areas like schools. And so that really bothers me when I hear about a school shooting. And so I came up with this patented device, and I'm developing a program around it to where it's determined to really make a difference in churches and groups and things like that. Another one I have is a new transportation system. Eisenhower and actually it was Al Gore Sr. brought in the interstate system. Well, we could enhance that. And our Congress is not looking at any of these type of innovation. America is used to settling for scraps coming out of Congress. And as a general contractor, if I build a home for someone and I say, okay, well, here's our punch list, we have 50 things to finish up on it. Well, sorry, a homeowner, I can only get 2 of them done. That's not acceptable. But we're settling for scraps coming out of Congress. And so that's another reason for the term limits. And we could move towards a phase 2 interstate program that helps with transportation. We see the woes of transportation down on the ports with moving cargo. And we all realize that when those trucks have difficulty running, the prices go up and we suffer. So there's a lot of solutions that way. Let's see what else I got in here. Oh, education is a big thing for me. I'm pushing for a national baseline education program, baseline with standards, and then the individual entities out there, the 50 states and the tribes, they could all enhance upon that. But this is the United States of America. We need to become more united. And I see that a really good working education program with that baseline reaches out like a spider web into so many different areas. Mental health, small business, finance, inflation, getting us off of buying things from China, because we're training our young people on how to become makers, small business people, multi-talented. And when they have multi-talented and they have multiple resources, they're more resilient to difficulty. So if they lose this job, they can fall back on another job and fall back on another job. I've experienced it myself. I was flat broke, depressed after the recession. I was an excavation contractor. I was doing pretty good, and the bottom fell out. And so I fell back on an old skill that I developed in high school, was auto mechanics. And one day I'm standing at my new job, making $18 an hour, flagging 5 or 6 hours a day. So I was going broke. And then God said, hey man, why don't you start a mobile RV repair business? And I'm going, really? I never thought of that. But I had a background in mechanicking, and I had a background actually in RV repair. And that enabled me to start a mobile RV repair business in the recession. And that thing did great. And I passed that on to my son, and he's doing great with it. So it's just, and it brought me out of depression. I was depressed. And so when I got to working with people, I had value. And so when I had value, that helped heal me. And so the same thing could apply with the education program. If we really teach our young people multiple skills and cross training, it's going to help them in multiple ways. And also a higher education program that doesn't cost the individual so much money, because we hear about out here on the campaign trail, how do you feel about relieving student debt? And I'm not a fan for that. If they signed a contract, that's the contract. But I'm also a fan of, let's educate our people to the absolute best we can. So if we give them a great education program, and I'm not sure how all the nuts and bolts would work on the tribe, but the essence of it is, if they want to go on to a higher education, then they could trade for a civil service. Doesn't mean they have to go in the military, but they would give back to the community with civil service in trade for their higher education. So now they have no student debt. They're more acclimated. They're more bought in. They're more united. And then we could use that kind of a program to help with the healthcare affordability crisis. So with the healthcare affordability crisis, what I see is a big one possible solution would be, we create new providers that don't have the big debt. And then we take the housing type equipment I mentioned, and we use it to build a community clinics. So the clinics are owned by community, and the people that are, the providers that are coming into it don't have the big debt. So they're able to work for less money, but yet the community can own these little clinics. This is just an idea I have. So then they can own the clinic, and it just keeps the healthcare costs down.
Just a second, Mitch. Carol, you have a comment?
Well, I just wanted to tell you thank you for coming in and introducing yourself. And sounds like you've got lots of great innovative ideas, and really would like to hear more about your tiny home thing that builds into a larger home. But yeah, and I know you're on a tough campaign trail. The date's coming up really soon. So anyway, I just wanted to thank you for that and putting your name in the hat. So.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
And if you happen to be successful, I hope that you keep a open mind on the tribe's issues. You know, we deal with a lot of things here, and if we're asked, we will provide the information that we feel that we need to make our position, and just hope you keep an open mind on that. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's the last thing I was going to say is, what do you guys need? You know, I'm naive to things tribal, so let's just leave it at that. You know, if I get the nod, then I'd love to come back and hear, what do you guys really need? And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mitch.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for stopping by. John, please come on up. You got to tag alonger there.
What's that?
You got to tag alonger.
Yes.
I was just
Fortunately.
hitchhiking, council, this fellow picked me up.
He picked you up?
I'm very.
Oh, it's a merciful day. It is. Thank you. Thank you, John, for doing that.
That's quick. Yes, yeah, I had the opportunity of meeting this gentleman and talking with some of his supporters. And they asked if I would come and introduce him to the tribal council. And after talking to him, looking at the holistic way that he approaches issues here in our own district, I'm honored to do so. This is John Repke, who is running for District 5 Public Service Commission. And he attended our bison days this last week, and and got to see one of the most amazing things, certainly in my lifetime. And before he speaks, I just wanted to tell you all from my heart how impressed I was with your leadership and also with our staff here. It came up a number of times, but what a beautiful few days we've just had. And so with that in my heart, John Repke.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, thank you, Steve, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come speak to all of you. As Steve said, I'm John Repke. I'm running for PSC District 5. PSC District 5 includes Flathead, Lake, Teton, and Lewis and Clark counties. So it's kind of an odd mix of counties. I can't drive from my home in Whitefish to Helena without leaving the district, actually. But I'm running for a couple reasons. One is I think I have the experience and expertise that is deeply needed, and character, I should say, that's deeply needed on the Public Service Commission. And the other thing I was kind of struggling to define, but when Steve and I talked over the weekend, he brought up this this concept of balance. And currently on the Public Service Commission, there are 5 commissioners, and all of them are from the same party and frankly from the same wing of the same party. There hasn't been a minority party representation on the Public Service Commission since 2012. And frankly, things have just gotten out of balance. And a lot of us that are, a significant portion of the population in the district aren't really represented. And we need to have representation on the commission that reflects, the community that it serves. So that certainly is important to me. But let me give you just a little bit of background about myself. Like the previous speaker, I'm an old, bald, white guy with a beard and 40 years of experience. But my experience is in corporate finance. I started my career in the oil and gas business in Gillette, Wyoming. I'm actually more from the Midwest, but started as a materials man and a field accountant in Gillette, moved to Denver, stayed in the oil and gas business, and I was able to get my master's degree in finance from the University of Denver. So I've got a master's in finance from there and a bachelor's in finance from Ohio State University. When I got my master's, I went to work for a company called Waste Management outside Chicago. Worked there for 11, 12 years, and then went to a supply chain company where I worked for, again, about 11, 12 years, back into the environmental services industry. And then I retired and moved out to Whitefish in 2014. But I'm not really good at retiring because I can't fish very well, for one thing. And I ended up getting involved in teaching business classes kind of here in Western Montana. I worked through Lake County Community Development Corporation, and I also had a nice relationship with Janet Camel, who had me teach some courses here, right across the parking lot, as well as in Elmo. And that was really rewarding experience. I mean, I've been working for big companies and kind of sometimes pretty sterile environments, but meeting people who were thinking about starting small businesses was really motivating and exciting work to do. From there, I went back to work at a company in Columbia Falls, Smart Lam. They make cross-laminated timber panels, and then I retired again in about a year ago, and now I'm running for office. So during the course of my career, I as I said, I spent time as an accountant, as a financial analyst, and eventually a chief financial officer of a couple corporations. I have the experience that's needed. The Public Service Commission's primary responsibility is setting rates for ratepayers that are served by investor-owned utilities in the state of Montana. And that work is very technical. It's very, it's obviously numbers oriented. You have to dig into the financials of a company like Northwestern Energy, understand them and determine what should be passed on to the ratepayers, what shouldn't be, and the same with risk and should the risks stay with the company or be pushed to the ratepayers. I'd spent, I was in business my whole career. That gave me a lot of experience, but it also gave me a certain skepticism about, I've seen a lot of good things. I've seen some bad things too. So I certainly, I'm running for this position to represent the ratepayers, and that's what I intend to do. And I feel like I can go up against the big companies because I've been there, done that same kind of work. The other thing that the Public Service Commission does is evaluates new projects that supply energy into the system. And I've had experience with this as well. When I worked at Waste Management, we had waste to energy facilities as well as, landfill gas facilities. So same kinds of things where we put energy back into the system. But this is really important. And I know climate change was mentioned earlier, and this is where the Public Service Commission affects all of us. I know that here, your energy is provided, your electricity, by Energy Keepers. And I don't think Northwestern's gas service gets up here either. So it's a little, it's not as immediate. For example, the rate setting side of the PSC's responsibility isn't really an issue here, but certainly the climate change and certainly giving fair, honest, objective analysis to renewable energy projects is important. And as I said earlier, there isn't any balance on the PSC right now. And the PSC has lost a couple lawsuits where these renewable energy projects came back and said, we're not being treated fairly. And the courts found that in fact, they weren't. So that's the kind of thing that I intend to stop. I intend to be fair, honest, objective, stop some of the nonsense that's been happening at the Public Service Commission. I don't know if you're aware of it. I don't know if this is much bigger news in Helena. It seems that even, elsewhere in the district, but, there's been, the Public Service Commission has failed a routine financial audit that the state does, and that's absolutely inexcusable. There were no consequences to the people that cheated on their expense reports and effectively stole from the state and the ratepayers. And there was another, there have been a few things, but there was another scandal that resulted in a $2.5 million lawsuit filed by one former commissioner against the commission because his professional and personal emails were stolen and submitted to a website, and that, I understand that case is still pending. But this is just inexcusable behavior. I think all of us, regardless of our political leanings, regardless of how well, to what extent we're serviced by the utilities that are regulated by the Public Service Commission, we should care about good government. We should expect our representatives to be honest, expect them to be fair and objective, and we're not seeing that. So that's really why I'm running. I really would be interested in hearing from any of you, either now or through my website or a phone call, to just better understand what issues you see and how the PSC might be able to have an impact on those. Thank you.
Thank you, John. You've highlighted all the issues very well, and thank you for stepping up and trying to fix that, because it is somewhat of a mess, and we need a good person to step up and do that. So appreciate that. I think, at least me personally, the clean energy, of course, is a highlight and of real importance. Just for the record, most of our electrical consumption comes from Bonneville Power here on the reservation. But a certain amount does come from our own energy keepers. But any other comments from council? Questions? Okay. Thank you. We have your information. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, too. All right. Archie, come on up, sir.
Good morning, council. I'm Archie Fuquace. I know most of you, but some of you I don't know. I did 40 years law enforcement here for the tribe. Retired now. A couple years ago, my mother, Donna Jones, passed away. I think some of you knew her. And left her house and property. And I'm here today to offer it to the tribe for sale. We've been through the tribal court probate. We've been through the federal probate system. I've been working with George Ducharme and we've had the appraisal done on the property. But today I want to offer it to the tribe for sale. It's 3 pieces of property, actually. It's in the Maggie Ashley home site. If you're familiar with that big yellow house there with 2 big shops right in the middle of the home site, that's what we're talking about. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. But I think it's a mistake to really look at it as a single family dwelling because there's 2 40 by 80 shops there. Concrete floors, full workbenches, water, heat, multiple doors on each one of them. She built that because she had the trailer court there to start with, Maggie Ashley Trailer Court. They sold that to the tribe. Now the tribe owns all of that. So anyway, the house sits on 1.55 acres of trust property. And I offer that for sale. There's also another piece of property that used to be the driveway that went from the house out to the old highway. That's a 0.79 acres that is just vacant there. No tribal houses on that. And across the old highway to the west, there's a big gravel pit. Somehow she ended up owning 9.3 acres of mineral rights in that gravel pit. I don't believe it has any value, but offer it to you for sale because she owns it. That's primarily why I'm here to see if the council would be interested in purchasing that trust property.
Thank you, Archie. You know, the council is always interested in purchasing, especially trust property. So thank you for the opportunity. Go ahead, Len.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, and good morning, Archie. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
And I've never got to express to thank you for your 40 years of service that you've done for the tribes. And not only that, I want to give condolences to your mother because I knew your mother very well. And, thank you for coming in and offering these to us first. I mean, these are properties adjacent to Highway 93 have always been important to us. I think it's something that we should at least take a look at. I know it's just a matter of when it comes to land acquisition of timing on our budgets. So I think at this point in time, if you could just provide that offer in writing to Mark Couture, our department head, and this is probably something we can have a discussion at the land committee meeting.
Okay, we're a little bit down the road there. We've, like I said, had it appraised. That appraisal is in Portland. We're waiting for that to come back, which should be soon. It's been there for 3 months. I was hoping the council might vote to show interest in it so that we at least have a buyer on it. I talked to housing yesterday and they would be interested, except they don't know what to do with those commercial shops. This is really a home for a tribal program or something. That house, if you walk through it, you'll see there's room for 100 people to walk through that place. It's built for huge volumes of traffic,
There's storage all over that place, multiple garages, multiple entry points. So anybody that needed a lot of storage, big shops, right in the middle of a tribal home site, that's your place.
Great, Carol.
Yeah, before we do any action, it'd be nice, Archie, to walk through it.
I
mean,
would love to have you walk.
so
through it.
we could at least get a thought of what it could be. So we're always looking for storage.
Yeah.
We're always looking for office space.
Yeah.
And that property is right in the middle of that
Yeah.
tribal home site. And
Yeah.
that's the most difficult thing for you to probably sell, but
Yeah.
for us to let go of, and it's
Yeah.
in trust.
Yeah.
So I just don't know about price. I don't know. I don't think you want to mention that here. But, or even let it out. Maybe it's a negotiation. No, it's in trust, so
Well-
you gotta pay appraisal or
We've,
above.
we've had it appraised and Lands has that appraisal. So,
Okay.
so they know what the price is.
Okay, so maybe we can just set up a field trip. I mean, I'd be willing to go and see, look at it, definitely.
Yeah, it's only, a mile away there, so it's close. All right.
Mark, if you could, we could set up a field trip if that's okay, Mr. Chair and Council.
Is council interested in the field trip? I've been in the house. I was one of Donna's tenants, so I went in there to pay my monthly bill all the time.
Well, you're a land baron, maybe you should buy it.
Yeah,
There's one other consideration I think we should all think about. It got broke into twice so far. Everybody in the home site knows it's vacant. And, they're breaking in. So the sooner we get somebody in there and get control of that, the better off everybody is. So far, no damage, just the door kicked down, but through the summer, I'm afraid we're gonna have trouble.
so field trip in order. People like to look at it. So yeah, Mark, can you schedule that field trip for us?
Yeah, that's something we could do in a half hour. I mean, it's quick.
Yeah, we can get that scheduled for Lands. When would council like to be, would it be this week or next week?
You know,
We could do it at the end of last.
tomorrow is a pretty good day. There's a department head meeting in the morning.
And you guys have half a day on Thursday right now.
Oh, Thursday after lunch? Want to try that? Does that work for people?
Archie, does that work for you?
That works fine.
Let's try that.
1 o'clock we're talking, or,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'll be over there and have it all opened up.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's do that this week. Sooner the better. Thank you, Archie.
Thank you,
Thanks.
council.
Now we have Mary Jane Bilodeau.
Mary Jane, come on up.
Want to close session?
Good morning, Mary Jane. We will now go out of regular into executive.